Sorry about that one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of Sunday Night Speed here from Race On Texas. We are streaming live at YouTube tonight. American Short Track Association Street Stocks up first. We are at Volusia Speedway Park. Got 3 races on the card for you this evening. 13 cars signed in for competition right now with the American Short Track Association Street Stocks. Make that 14. Rick Gibson, the fastest car in pre-race practice right now. A 19.989 second lap around Volusia Speedway Park. 9 thousandths of a second ahead of Kenneth Drake. Drake coming in at a 19.998. Third quick right now, Martin W. Karch, a 20.008 second lap. Brett Rawls fourth with a 20.013. And Brian Beach in the 18 machine just cracking the top 5 there, a 20.022 second run. Actually looks like Ronald Piles now jumping into the top 5, gonna knock Brian Beach out. Piles with a 20.001 second lap. Around Volusia Speedway Park, a half-mile racetrack this evening. We're going to have the American Short Track Association Street Stocks, the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets here at Volusia Speedway Park as well. And then we'll round the night out with the ASTA UMP Dirt Modifieds this evening from Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, night number 2 for Sunday Night Speed. Last week, at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it was Ronald Piles picking up 2 of 3, grabbing the ASTA Street Stock victory and the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midget main event there, picking up the win in both of those categories, both of those classes. And then Martin W. Karch rounding out the evening with the win in the American Short Track Association Dirt UMP Modified. We'll look to see if any of those drivers can double up and repeat, defend those victories from last weekend. Once again, we want to thank the American Short Track Association for putting Race On Texas out to broadcast these iRaces. We're streaming live to YouTube tonight. Looks like checkered flag going to wave here in the practice session, and we will move on to our heat races. And with 16 cars signed in currently for Dirt Street Stock Racing here at Volusia Speedway Park, I can only assume we'll be splitting these guys up into possibly 2 heat races of 8. And we'll turn them loose here in just a moment. Get the cars out on the racetrack. Once again, last week in American Short Track Association Dirt Street Stock competition, it was the 68 of Ronald Piles grabbing the win. Dirt Street Stock racing here at Volusia Speedway Park. Ronald going to be looking to double up and get back-to-back wins here in Dirt Street Stock competition. And we'll turn them loose here in just a moment. Get the cars out on the racetrack. Once again, last week in American Short Track Association Dirt Street Stock competition, it was the 68 of Ronald Piles. If you're wanting more information on the American Short Track Association, you can check out their Facebook page. Just look up American Short Track Association there on Facebook. They also have a full website at americanshorttrack.blogspot.com. You can check out the point standings, winner photos from last week, and keep up with all of the racing and all of the series. We, of course, broadcast 3 nights a week with the ASTA. Sunday night speed, track night Tuesday, and Thunder on Thursday. So plenty of racing to keep you occupied in the beginning of the off season here. Looks like we're going to roll out heat race number 1 for the ASTA Dirt Street Stock races this evening. And on row number 1 on the inside, it's going to be the 19 of Philip Temples. Philip going to be starting this race from the pole. He'll be joined by the 14 of Christopher Hockley. Next row back on the inside, the 71 will be Kendall Jones, and he'll be joined by the 111 of Cody McKnight. Third row back on the inside, the 18, it's Double B, Brian Beach. Brian going to be joined by the 45 of Michael Massey. Fourth and final row on the inside, Brett Rawls going to be driving the 17 car, and he'll be joined by the 60, the Winn-Dixie sponsored number 60 machine, driven tonight by Brian Neff. 8 cars the field. It will be an 8-lap affair here for heat race number 1 for the American Short Track Association Dirt Street Stocks at Volusia Speedway Park. Night number 2 for Sunday night speed. Once again, thanks to the ASTA guys and Michael Massey for having us out. Looks like we're getting ready to go green this time off of turn number 4. Heat race number 1 underway for the Dirt Street Stocks here at Volusia. Good run for Temples down the front stretch. He'll lead the field into turn number 1. In third spot, it's the 71 of and Jones into the wall. Already going to loop her around. Was trying to get underneath. Second spot, which right now belongs to Michael Massey. A good run. Excuse me, that's my mistake, ladies and gentlemen. It is Philip Temples out front. Second spot belongs to the 111 of Cody McKnight. There we go. He's being challenged, though, by Michael Massey. A good run for Massey here in the Street Stocks at Volusia Speedway Park. Lap number 3 this time around going to be led by Philip Temples. Temples still out front. Massey, the quickest car on the racetrack. 20.485. Now that honor belongs to Brian Beach. A blistering lap of 20.171 seconds. Double B, the fastest car on the track, trying to get up there and take some positions away. We've got some good racing here, ladies and gentlemen. The second 3 there, second, third, and fourth, nose to tail around the bottom of turns 1 and 2 that time around. Temple still out front. Second spot belongs to the 111 of Cody McKnight. Then it's Michael Massey in third. A good battle for fourth. Looks like Brett Rawls there challenging Christopher Hockley once again through the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Rawls slides up the racetrack, as does Hockley. And now Brian Neff getting there into the mix. A 3-car battle for the 4th spot on the racetrack. Meanwhile, it's heating up front. McKnight, now the fastest car on the track, sitting in second spot, trying to get around your leader. 6 laps complete. That time by should be 2 to go. Temples leads them once again down the back chute into turn number 3. The Jack Daniels sponsored number 19 machine had major success on Thunder on Thursday last week. Made it a clean sweep of the evening, taking the white flag this time by. Good battle for second spot as Michael Massey finds his way around the top side of turns 1 and 2, trying to get around Cody McKnight. It's not going to be enough. We're into turn 3 for the final time. Looks like the win gonna go to Temples. Second spot, though, anybody's guess. Right now, it's going to be McKnight in second, followed by Michael Massey in third. Brett Rawls fourth, and Brian Neff rounds out the top 5. A heck of a run there to those drivers, ladies and gentlemen, in heat race number 1 for the American Short Track Association Street Stocks here at Volusia Speedway Park. Once again, the win going to Philip Temples. Temples taking the top spot in heat race number 1. Seems to be picking up right where he left off on Thursday. Of course, once again, Temples sweeping the night Thursday night, picking up the Wheeling Tour Modified Series win at South Boston Speedway. Sponsored by the American Short Track Association, he also picked up both Massey Graphics Super Late Model wins. One coming at South Boston and the other coming at Bristol Motor Speedway. And gonna be starting on the pole of tonight's ASTA Dirt Street Stock event here at Volusia Speedway Park. Temples got to be feeling confident coming into action tonight. Heat race number 2 going to be coming up here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll roll the cars out onto the speedway. Looks like one of the first to be taking to the half-mile dirt oval. Gonna be Martin Karch in the 3 car. Tim DeSwart out of Knoxville, Iowa. Also going to be in heat race number 2. We're going to have Kenneth Drake driving the 1 car this evening. Ronald Piles was the man last Sunday, 2 for 3 on night number 1 of Sunday Night Speed. He is your last winner on the dirt with the Street Stocks, picking up the win last week, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just as soon as we get the lineup here for heat race number 2, we'll turn them loose here. Looks like DeSwart going to be on the inside of row number 1. He'll be joined by Martin Karch. Second row back, looks like it's going to be Ronald Piles and Rick Gibson. Third row is Kenneth Drake and the 20 of Eric Eichstadt. And then it's the 21 of Jim Rebus, the 32 of Jacob M. Williams. Green flag waves and we're underway. Oh, and already on the start, we've got problems for Ronald Piles. Piles going to have to come all the way from the back to defend that feature victory last weekend. Up front, it's a hot battle between Tim DeSwart and Martin Karch. Karch going to lead lap number 1. DeSwart trying to give chase there in second spot. Karch going to lead the field that time through turns 1 and 2. DeSwart in second. Now we are 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 with Rick Gibson in the 38. The 20 car is Eichstadt. And the 69 is Tim DeSwart. I'll tell you what, Eric Eichstadt on the move here in heat race number 2, up to the second spot. Gets around both Rick Gibson and Tim DeSwart down the backstretch. Martin Karch still your leader. Eric Eichstadt in second spot, excuse me, coming into turn number 1, being challenged now by Rick Gibson in the 38 machine. A good battle also underway for the 4th spot. Tim DeZwart now doing battle with the 32 of Jacob Williams. Williams down to the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Once again, that's for 4th on the racetrack. Give it to Williams off of turn number 4. Down the front stretch back into turn number 1. The battle for the 2nd spot still hot and heavy with Gibson now looking to the bottom of turn number 3 under Eric Eichstadt. We come through turns 3 and 4. And Gibson gonna take over the runner-up spot. Eichstadt not gonna let him get away without a fight. Still on the outside as we come into turn number 1. Got to be contact there between those 2 drivers. Eichstadt almost all the way to the wall. Gonna look down at the bottom, try a crossover maneuver here with Rick Gibson now. Eichstadt on the bottom of turns 3 and 4, gonna retake the 2nd spot. This is the battle on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen, but Martin Karch way out in front here in heat race number 2 for the ASTA Street Stocks. 2nd spot, once again, still Rick Gibson. Here comes Eichstadt on the bottom of 3 and 4 once again. It is not gonna be enough. Gibson gonna hang on to that 2nd spot. Karch still your leader. That may have done it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, we're still under throttle. Bill Karch out front across the start-finish line once again. 8 cars. The field should be an 8-lap heat race. Karch still your leader down the backstretch once again. Rick Gibson in 2nd spot now pretty solidly. Closing the gap a little bit on the leader as we come through turn number 4. And that one right there is going to do it. Karch going to take the win. Gibson going to be in 2nd spot. Eric Eichstadt in 3rd. That's going to round out heat racing for the ASTA Street Stocks. Trying to find Martin Karch here in the TeamSpeak channel. Hey, Martin, you got a copy, brother?
Yeah.
Congrats on that heat race win there, man. A good run there in heat race number 2. You had a good battle there behind you with Gibson and Eichstadt. What do you think it's going to take to get the win from the outside of the front row here at Volusia?
It's all about hitting your marks, and we're pretty comfortable running the high side tonight, so we'll just have to play our cards right.
I think that's where it's going to end up, around the top side of the racetrack. It seemed to be getting faster there towards the back of the heat race. Good luck to you tonight, Martin, going for the win in the number 3 car.
Thank you.
All right, folks, a little pre-race practice going on here for the ASTA Dirt Street Stocks at Volusia Motor Speedway, or Speedway Park, excuse me. Some of the cars out on the racetrack right now. Kenneth Drake in the 1 machine right now, 2nd in the standings. A 20.104 second lap around the Volusia Speedway Park. Quickest car on the racetrack so far this evening is now the 71 of Kendall Jones, a 2:00.68 second lap for the 71 machine. Some good laps around this racetrack right now. It really hasn't lost much speed throughout the course of the evening. Good looking race cars around here too. Karch back atop the leaderboards. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a 20.007 second lap, barely off of pre-race practice. Had some cars down in the 19.8 second bracket, so we've lost about 0.2 overall this evening, but still some great lap times here from the drivers in the ASTA Street Stock division. Checker flag coming out for that session. We're going to move on to our 30-lap main event for the American Short Track Association Dirt Street Stocks. And once again, we will roll it onto the racetrack, and then as soon as the green flag drops, they will shuffle to their starting position via heat race finishes. So Karch going to be outside the front row after winning heat race number 2. We'll turn these guys loose for 30 green flag laps. One car we need to be on the lookout for, I'm sure, going to be the 68 of Ronald Piles. He was our winner last week at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, getting into a first lap altercation in heat race number 1. Going to put Piles towards the back of the pack. We want to thank each and every one of you if you're tuning in live through raceontexas.com. We are streaming live to YouTube this evening, bringing you Sunday Night Speed with the American Short Track Association. ASTA Dirt Street Stocks on tap right now. We are getting ready to go for 30 laps around Volusia Speedway Park. Coming up next, going to be the Slideways Karting Center Dirt Midgets, and then we'll round out the evening with the ASTA UMP Dirt Modifieds. Once again, Piles, your defending race victor from last weekend, picked up the win at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gonna have a long way to go tonight. Of course, Martin Karch there, you see him lined up on the inside of that front row. That's not where he's going to be starting. He'll move over to the outside lane after picking up the win in heat race number 2. Just as soon as the pace truck leaves here, we'll get everybody into the correct positions. There goes the pace truck. Everybody going to shuffle into the appropriate spots. And the reason that we do that, ladies and gentlemen, is because through the iRacing software, we don't have defined heat races set. So what happens is iRacing sees that all as a qualifying session, and the drivers, their lap times are scored, and then the feature actually lines them up according to their lap times. So iRacing keeps track of it as one big session, even though we split it up and bring it to you as heat races. That's just the way that the software works. So once the green flag drops, we line them up according to the results of their heat races, and then we turn them loose off of turn 4. And it looks like the judges declared the 111 of Cody McKnight the winner of heat race number 1. So he is going to start inside the front row. He'll be alongside Martin Karch in the 3-car. Philip Temples, after finishing second in heat race number 1, going to be inside the second row alongside Rick Gibson in the 38. Then Michael Massey in the 45. Eric Eichstadt in the 20-car. Brett Rawls going to be inside row 4 in the 17. Jacob Williams to the outside in the 32. The Winn-Dixie 60 of Brian Neff inside row number 5, and then Tim DeSwart from Knoxville, Iowa on the outside. Jim Rivas and Christopher Hockley, row number 6. Nicholas Wing, Ronald Piles, row 7. Kendall Jones, Brian Beach, row 8. And Kenneth Drake rounds out the field by himself in row number 9. We are green flag out underway here with the American Short Track Association Street Stocks, and Cody McKnight leads the field into turn number 1 off of turn 2. Second spot now belongs to Philip Temples in the 19 machine. Martin Karch on the inside of turns 3 and 4, trying to make a run for that second spot. It's not going to be enough. McKnight leads lap number 1. He's got Philip Temples underneath him through turns 1 and 2. Temples on the bottom of the racetrack looks to take the top spot as McKnight smacks the wall. Temples out front now in the 19 machine. Jack Daniels sponsored 19 car out in front. Philip Temples once again sweeping Thursday night. Here comes McKnight once again. Has gathered it back up in the 111 machine. Looks to the outside of turns 1 and 2. Karch right now in third spot. Rick Gibson is fourth in the 38. And Brett Rawls rounds out the top 5 in the 17. A good race going on now right behind your leader. They're 3 wide there for a brief moment for third, fourth, and fifth. 5 laps complete that time by we head back off into turn number 1, and the leader slides up the racetrack. Look at the run on the bottom for McKnight. We're door to door down the backstretch into 3. Cody McKnight on the bottom of the racetrack slings the 111 machine through the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Is it going to be enough to take the top spot? No. Philip Temples keeps his foot through the floorboard on the outside of the racetrack, and he leads lap number 6. Oh, and McKnight very sideways on the bottom, going to lose 1, 2, almost 4 spots. Down the backstretch into turn number 3, Martin Karch nose to tail with Temples through turns 3 and 4. Temples going to lead lap number 8. They get lap number 7. Karch in second spot. Gibson is third. Eichstätt up to fourth, and McKnight rounds out the top 5. Cody McKnight, your early race leader, now doing battle with Brett Rawls side by side through turns 3 and 4.
The yellow flag is out.
Oh, we've got 2 cars around Martin Karch and Eric Eichstätt getting together over in turn number 3. We're going to roll the instant replay right now, ladies and gentlemen, give you a look at what took place between Martin Karch. Looks like Philip Temples trying to play a little defense there. Comes down the racetrack. Got into Martin Karch just a little bit. And Karch and Eichstätt with nowhere to go get turned around in turns 3 and 4. Tough break for Martin Karch. Was running in second spot. Looks like we're going to go in cockpit view here with Martin Karch. We'll take a look at that replay. And you can see from Karch's perspective what took place. Some contact there with Philip Temples, who was leading at the time. And the biggest victim in that set right there was probably 20 of Eric Eichstätt. Had a good run going in fourth spot. Gets caught up in the melee with nowhere to go. And right now sits 14th on the racetrack. Temples is going to line up out in front. Rick Gibson in second. Brett Rawls now third. Cody McKnight is fourth. And Jim Rivas rounding out the top 5. Brian Neff, the Winn-Dixie 60 in sixth spot. Jacob Williams is seventh. Tim DeSwart from Knoxville, Iowa in 8th. Kendall Jones 9th. And Michael Massey in the 45 rounding out the top 10. Ronald Piles, Kenneth Drake, Double B, Brian Beach back there in 13th. Eric Eichstätt 14th. Christopher Hockley 15th. Martin Karch 16th. And Nicholas Wing rounds out the field in 17th position. We should be getting ready to go green this time off before the pace truck is in. And we're underway. Temples leads the field down the front stretch into turn number 1. Look underneath him. You've got Rawls. You've got Gibson up top. 2 cars getting together. It's Brian Neff and the 21 of Jim Rivas. They're 3 wide down the backstretch now, and 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. That's 1, 2, and 3. There's contact between second and third. Temple's going to lead lap number 12. Look at Rick Gibson in second spot. Gibson with bad luck last Sunday night, looking for a little bit of redemption. Running second right now in the 38 machine. Follows Temples top side into turn number 3. Brett Rawls right now rounding out the podium in third spot. The lead that time past the stripe, 0.311 seconds, excuse me, for Philip Temples over Rick Gibson. 13 laps complete, 17 to go. They're 3 and 4 wide mid-pack right now. Let's jump back to the 68 of Ronald Piles, currently running in the 6th position. He's doing battle right now with Kendall Jones, and Eric Eichstätt clawing his way back up through the field, already back up to 8th spot. After going all the way to the back, Eichstätt not going to be denied. We are not even to the halfway mark yet. Eric with plenty of time to crawl his way through the field. Ronald Piles, of course, your winner last weekend, duking it out right now with Kendall Jones for the 6th position. Jones gets around coming down the front boulevard, but hangs it out to dry on the top side of the racetrack. Piles going to get by, as does ASTA. And the number 1 of Kenneth Drake. That's going to put Jones back in 9th position. That's some good close racing mid-pack. We jump back up front. Temple still out in the top spot. Rick Gibson. And so, oh, we've got 2 cars around in turn number 2. Looks like Kendall Jones going around after some contact between he and I do believe Kenneth Drake. I'm sure Scott Barloff going to find it on the instant replay there for us, folks. Once again, got the man behind the scenes making all the cameras work. Get that replay pulled up. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Rolling right now, ladies and gentlemen, we take a look at the instant replay. Kendall Jones having a rough go of it there in the 71 car, getting turned around. Contact there between the 71 of Kendall Jones and the 1 of Kenneth Drake, and then the 69 coming in of Tim Deswart with nowhere to go. But it looks like Jones going to be charged with the caution. He's going to line up 15th on the racetrack. Kenneth Drake going to get his spot there in the 1 machine, and Tim Deswart going to round out the top 9. Was Deswart right now sitting in 9th position. Jacob Williams going to round out the top 10 there in the 32. 18 laps are complete at this point. We're going to be crossing. It looks like we're coming through turn number 3 and 4 right now. We'll be crossing the start-finish line once again before we go back green. So once again, folks, tonight with the American Short Track Association, my name is Nick Robbins. I'll be calling the action for you all night long. Scott Bargaloff making all the magic happen with the cameras, keeping track of everything down there in Corpus Christi, Texas. We thank Scott so much for doing such a great job with the camera work this evening. Once again, Race on Texas streaming you the action on Sunday Night Speed with the American Short Track Association. Looks like we're getting ready to go green once again with the ASTA Dirt Street Stocks here at Volusia Speedway Park.
Green flag, green flag.
Pace truck off the speedway. We are back underway down the front stretch into turn number 1. Nearly 3 wide. We are 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Gibson on the outside. Your leader, the meat in that sandwich. Gibson going to lose a spot to Brent Rolls on the bottom. The Tennessee Tumbler making it work down there in the 17 car. He gets into contact with Temple's, your leader. Temple's going to lead lap number 21. 21 down and 9 to go in the ASTA Dirt Street Stock main event, and it is shaping up to be a big one. Temple still out front as we come down the backstretch into turn number 3. Rawls on the bottom of the track, tries to slide up once again. Not going to be enough. Jim Rivas now in the 4th position, trying to get around both Gibson and Rawls as we come back into turn number 1. And Ronald Piles with a top 5 run going on right now after starting almost in the back of this pack. It was your winner 1 week ago at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Trying to get his way towards the front and defend that title. 23 in the books that time by 7 to go. Your leader, still Philip Temples, but they're side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel, right behind him. 3 wide coming into turn number 3. Gibson underneath. Here comes Rawls on the bottom. It's still not enough. Temple's going to lead lap number 24. Ronald Piles and Jim Rivas now beating and banging on one another coming through turns 3 and 4. That's 4 and 5 on the racetrack. The 1 car, Kenneth Drake right there in 6th, trying to crack that top 5. We come into turn 3 once again, nearly 3 or 4 wide through the bottom of the racetrack. Piles with a good run now, looking to gain some positions as we come back into turn number 1. Gibson playing defense on the bottom. Flips up through the middle. They're 3 wide right behind him. Your leader still Philip Temples. Second spot still Rick Gibson. They're 3 wide once again through turns 3 and 4. Ronald Piles on the bottom, Brent Rawls in the middle, Jim Rivas up top. Rivas now to the podium. The high side seems to be the fast way around. Jim Rivas hanging on to that 3rd spot as we come off of turn number 2. That's some good racing action right there, as now Eric Eichstadt coming from the back up to 7th spot. They're almost 5 wide through turns 3 and 4. Coming through the bottleneck. 27 down, 3 to go for Philip Temples. Temples picking up right where he left off on Thursday night. Swept the evening there on Thunder on Thursday. We go back. Oh, your leader into the wall for a brief moment. Gibson right there to close the gap. Going to be 2 to go this time by. Look at Ronald Piles all the way up top.
The yellow flag is out.
Eichstadt around at the bottom of turn number 4. That is going to do it for the race. I guarantee it, ladies and gentlemen. The caution coming out on lap number 29 for Eric Eichstadt, going around at the bottom of turn number 4. Tough break for the driver of the 20 car. Eric had a good run going, had clawed his way to the front twice. And having bad luck there on lap number 28, and that is probably going to do it for the race, ladies and gentlemen. Under caution is how we'll wrap this one up. We'll roll them around one more time. It looks like the finishing order going to be Temples out front in the top spot. Gibson will be second. Jim Rivas going to have a good run there on the podium in third. Brett Rawls fourth. Ronald Piles from the back to fifth. A good run for the driver out of Kingwood, West Virginia. Rounding out the top 5 in the 68 machine. Kenneth Drake in the 1 car coming home in 6th. Martin Karch coming from the back to 7th there after running out front for a lot of the race. Jacob Williams in 8th, Tim DeSwart 9th, and Kendall Jones rounds out the top 10. Brian Beach, Brian Neff, Michael Massey, Christopher Hockley, Eric Eichstadt, Cody McKnight, and Nicholas Wing going to round out the remainder of the field. That's going to do it for the ASTA Street Stocks. 30 laps in the books. The win once again going to Philip Temples in the 19 car. Get Philip down here in the press box channel, get a real quick word with him. Philip, you got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations once again, my friend, picking up right where we left off on Thursday with a win in the ASTA Dirt Street Stock feature. Man, that was a heck of a race right there.
Yeah, that'll be a rarity that you see me run up front of the dirt car.
Well, you got it done tonight, brother. You had some great 3 and even 4 wide racing going on right behind you pretty much the whole race. What did it take to just keep those guys behind you?
To be frank, I don't have a clue, man. I just slung it in there and figured out what to do with it when I got it there.
Well, it seemed like you figured it out just about every single lap, my friend. The car seemed to be on a rail, and you had, like I said, some heavy hitters behind you there. Rick Gibson and a couple of those other guys. Ronald Piles worked his way from the back to 5th, so there was some great racing behind you. Congrats on keeping them behind you, getting it done tonight. Who you want to thank?
My wife for putting up with me for doing this.
Well, congratulations to you, brother. You going to hang out with us for the midgets and the modifieds this evening?
Oh, the midgets for sure, but I'll probably be hanging out in the back on that race.
Sounds about like myself, if that makes you feel any better. Congrats once again, Philip, grabbing the win, and good luck to you coming up in the Slideways Karting Center midget race.
Thanks, man.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Philip Temples, 4 races in a row going to that young man with the American Short Track Association. And we're going to sign off here with the Dirt Street Stocks. We'll be right back in just a few moments with midgets from Volusia, sponsored by